What's up, YouTube? The Season 4 Reloaded update is about to go live after being delayed for a couple of weeks. Instead of reading through the entire thing, here's what you actually need to know. Let's address the elephant in the room, weapon balancing. This took up a huge chunk of the patch notes, but realistically it boils down pretty simply. A large number of attachments got some buffs, but they're pretty nominal. Some are weapon specific, while others are global. Realistically, I don't think it's going to impact a whole lot. This is because when picking an attachment, you're usually picking based off of what that specific attachment does, not necessarily how much of it does. Let's use barrels as an example. Each barrel has a different effect, and usually your choice is going to boil down to whether you want more range or velocity. So even if the short barrel's jump sprint to fire speed is 2% better now, that still doesn't beat out the damage range or bullet velocity you gain from the other ones. Even hypothetically, if you cut the range or velocity boost from the other barrels in half, the buffed short barrel still wouldn't compete, as its effect is virtually useless. For specific weapon balancing, multiplayer didn't really have any changes. For Warzone, we had a handful. Let's go through them. A few of the older MW2 and MW3 weapons got some buffs, but after comparing them to the current meta, I don't think it's really anything to write home about. The Krig received several nerfs. Its damage range was reduced by about 5 meters. Its shots to the arms now deal the same damage as it would to the leg, instead of previously it was dealing the same damage as torso shots. So this could definitely impact your TTK. The sprint to fire increased, bullet velocity decreased, and the flinch resistance also decreased. Time will tell, but I think these will be enough to hurt its standings in the meta. I think we'll probably see some newer ones kind of rise to the top, such as the Grau, maybe the Kilo, something like that. LMGs in general will have slightly faster ADS and less flinch, which is great. The XMG in particular got buffs to its headshot and upper torso damage, as well as its sprint to fire speed. These changes potentially could push it into the meta, so I look forward to playing around with a few builds and seeing what I can come up with. The AEK got buffed in pretty much every way you could imagine, including decreasing visual recoil. Will it bring it into the meta? Probably not. They attempted to mix up the sniper meta by buffing the Victus XMR from MW2. It now can hit a one-hit headshot just like the HDR can. However, every other stat is worse than the HDR. I don't know why you would pick it over the HDR. So, if you've been in a coma for the last 3 years and you have it leveled up, but you don't have the HDR leveled up, maybe you could consider using it, but honestly, I would just take the time to level up the HDR. The SVD and TR2 are both getting full auto conversion kits or mods. I'm hoping this will give them the Grau or SWAT 556 treatment and will result in them being usable, but I have my doubts. One cool thing to mention about the TR2 mod in particular is the longer that you fire, the slower the fire rate is going to be. So that'll be fun to play around with. Lastly, we'll be getting a new special weapon, the Olympia over-under shotgun. This gun will have 2 shots available before you have to reload. So in Warzone, it'll probably be too punishing to use, but in multiplayer, I can see this being a pretty fun option. Moving on to perks, multiplayer didn't get any changes, but in Warzone, enough things got mixed up, I think we might see a new perk meta. Plunder and Resurgence are getting a brand new perk called Loot Master. This one can't be equipped in your loadout screen yet, but you can pick it up off the ground mid-match. When equipped, it causes supply chests to spit out more and better loot. In the perk 1 slot, Grenadier, Scavenger, and Reflexes saw some changes. Grenadier now lets you deploy equipment faster. However, the health regen delay has been decreased from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Scavenger only drops 1,000 instead of 1,500 now, but you'll still get a plate out of it. And Reflexes has been adjusted to give you 0.1 more seconds. According to the patch notes, it gives you just enough time to react to a mine or a Betty up at the top of an ascender. Overall, I think I'm going to stick with Scavenger in casuals and Survivor in regular BR. Slot 2 is where we see the biggest changes. Reactive armor will now refill all of your plates instead of just up to 50%. Bomb Squad now reduces explosive and fire damage by 45% instead of 30%, and that now also includes self-imposed explosive damage. Quartermaster's restock timer has been increased to a full minute from the 50 seconds it was before. Not a big change, but something to consider. Tracker has received some serious nerfs. Instead of 5 targets, now only 1 will be highlighted, and it'll only be for 1 second at short to medium range or up to 3 seconds at long range. Overall, I don't think that's enough to be running over some of these other perks, so I'm probably not going to run Tracker anymore. Overall, in the perk 2 slot, there's a lot of good options. I think I'm going to try out Quick Fix, but I'll probably give all of them a good chance and see if one fits with my playstyle better. Slot 3 got off easy with no changes, so I'm sticking with Bird's Eye. In Resurgence and Plunder, the list of lootable perks has now been updated. It includes the brand new Loot Master we already mentioned, Shrouded, Irradiated, Cold-Blooded, Reactive Armor, and Bird's Eye. It's a pretty decent pool. Multiplayer will be receiving 2 new maps, Fringe and Eclipse Strike. Fringe is a reimagined one from Black Ops 3, so if you've played it before, you'll feel right at home. Eclipse Strike is a brand new one. It's set in a nightclub in Avalon, and it appears to be a smaller map similar to Racket. Rebirth Island and Liberty Falls are both getting cel-shaded versions of the maps. This will give them a 2D cartoonish look, and this leads us into the newest event we'll be getting with the new season update, Beavis and Butthead.
I am Cornholio. I need TV for my bunghole.
This event will be XP based just like so many before it have been, and the big rewards we get from it are the Olympia shotgun we mentioned and a pickaxe melee weapon. I don't recall there being any significant pickaxes in Beavis and Butthead, so I have to imagine this has to be a reference to
Chicken jockey!
Resurgence is gaining both a casual and ranked mode. Both versions will have 45 players, with the casual one only having 12 real players, and in the ranked version, you'll gain SR collectively as a team rather than individually, and if you die, it does not impact your SR. On the Verdansk side of things, we'll be getting a new Havoc Royale mode. In this mode, 44 players or 11 teams of 4 will be dropping into a limited POI on Verdansk. Over the next 15 minutes and 6 gas rings, you have to fight to be the last one alive. The thing that makes it interesting are the modifiers that changes how everybody will play, and once you get close to the end of the match, a finale modifier will come online. Many of these are just kind of wacky, but others will lend themselves towards fast-paced games. I do have a fear though that the unregulated airspace modifier has the potential to crash the game or just not work at all, considering how buggy calling in kill streaks has been in recent history. Now, to wrap things up, let's go through some small quality of life changes. The train on Verdansk now has a UAV tower and a buy station. In the Gulag, pistols will have a Kepler micro reflex, a compensator, and an extended mag. Hopefully this gives keyboard and mouse players a chance against aim assist. Most wanted contracts no longer spawn until after the first circle. This prevents you from dropping in, picking one up, and then completing it super quickly by opening a bunch of crates or killing people without guns yet. So scavengers are probably going to be the replacement for that. However, if you do kill somebody that has a most wanted going, you'll get double the money. Contracts in general also will not spawn after the 4th circle now. Care packages can now include bunker busters, so hopefully that's a sign that they'll be making a full return soon. Helicopters will now show up on the minimap even if they're super high. This will prevent people from grabbing one, getting way up there, and then the people on the ground not having any indication of where they are and then dying to gas. And last but absolutely not least, we no longer have to deal with
Oh no.
On you? Yep, on the stairs.
Splash notifications can now be turned off under gameplay HUD settings. That's going to be it for me today. I'd love to hear in the comments how buggy and unplayable you think this will be, or if you think the delay gave them enough time to iron out the kinks. Until next time, keep improving, slow and steady.